Are you investing your money as an author in the best way possible? Hi, I'm Bonnie Paulson, and I work with Finding Your Indie, and we are an ads and marketing strategist company, literally for authors. What does this mean? It means we know what we're talking about, as we have taken authors from hardly any money a month to lots and lots and lots of money a month. I myself am an author. I'm a USA Today bestselling author. I have a few pen names that have made that list. I have 14 pen names in total. Most of them are not alive. And I actually have stepped back from writing because it does require two parts of the brain to run a business. You have your creative side, which does the writing, and you have your left side, which does the business part. My left side is more engaged right now, and I am more interested in analytics and data, especially for clients and for myself. So as I've taken my work more wide and on Shopify stores and stuff, I'm finding that that's funner for me right now. And with more than 200 books out, I can do that. I have a backlist. I can do the things. I can make the investments where I need to make the investments, like translations, audiobooks, different types of graphic novels, different types of AI that I can play with for my books. Are you in that position? Let's talk about that. One of the things that I get asked a lot lately, especially on our forum that we have on our website, where people get to ask us questions and we try to reach out and help them out as much as we can. Mandy and I try really, really hard to make sure that we are reaching people and helping them to pursue their dreams. Now, the biggest problem that I have seen lately, especially, and I shouldn't say just lately, let's say within the last year, is people think that they're ready to pay for ads. I want to do my ads. And we have turned down probably 70% of the people who have applied for us to do their ad management. And we've got a lot of reasons why. But the main three that we have is, number one, they don't have more than one or two books. Look, I'm not saying you can't put ads on one or two books. I'm saying it is not a good investment to hire an ad manager and to put the money on that types of things if you only have one or two books, right? So your return's not going to be as strong or as high if you even get a return. That's the first one. The second one is their branding is not on par. I think this is one of the most important things as an author. Are you delivering consistently on a brand? Are you delivering consistently on that promise, which is exactly what a brand is? And number three, do you have reviews? Are you hitting the things that say that you are? Like, do you have social proof that you are hitting these brands' promises? Those are the first two. The third one, though, I think is where a lot of people get kind of stuck, okay? And that's mostly what today's topic is going to be about. I had a client not too long ago, a super sweet woman, and she said, I have this book that's going to come out. It's her second book. They were not branded well. We were working together because I told her I would help her with her consult, her whole brand consult, her plan for the year, what she was going to do. What she wanted to do was to take her money, which she didn't have a lot of, and invest it in translation for that next book coming up and an audiobook for the next book coming up, as well as special edition covers, which they weren't to market, the ones that she had picked out, and a few other things like that. So the investment overall would have been close to $10,000 just for this one book in a series, one book. So she didn't have a prequel in place. She didn't have bonuses in place. She didn't have an infrastructure in place from her other book, which was her first book. They were completely different genres, by the way. So essentially, this is going to be a one book name, right? Because you cannot do sweet romance with thrillers. Watch some of my previous videos on how I know that. You can, but it's not going to be as successful as someone who niches down a little bit more and delivers the same thing over and over, right? So what I'm getting at is you really need to understand who you're marketing to, what they're looking for, and if you are putting the correct items out there. So, and is it going to work? Is your test, are you testing the right way? If your ebook does well, and you can define what does well means, but I would assume that if your ebook does well, then you should consider some form of narration or, audiobook format of that. That would be the next logical step, okay? But only if you have the funds to cover that. I would never, ever, ever tell anybody to take out a loan for ads, to take out a loan to push your products further. You need to start from the ground up, start bootstrapping, get your stuff out there and making the money so that your business is not in the red. You don't want to be in the red. Trust me. Because books have such a low ROI, the low turning point. There's $3.99, $4.99, $5.99 for a book. you're maybe getting 60 to 70% of that. Less if you have page reads, right? Do you see where I'm going with this? If you have a free book one, or you do 99-cent sales all the time, you've just drastically cut your return. We're not talking about $100 shoes here. This is a book where you've put in a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of your investment, and you're going to turn around and sell one book for $3.99. And you're expecting that you're going to have a huge return. You might, and you might not. Ultimately, though, you should not be investing your funds, your income or money that you have on translations, on audiobooks, on other formats until you have, and your paperback's pretty much free, right? Like if you have the wrap, usually like a designer will throw in a wrap for like $25 or whatever your designer does. But you have the ebook, you throw up the paperback, that's two from the same asset. And I am all about repurposing. That is like a huge thing that I say all the time, but not if it's going to cost you a ton of money to do it. Your book that you want to have translated, the translation is a new asset. It's not the asset itself. So you have the ebook and you're going to get an audiobook. That is a new asset, okay? It's a new format. It's a new asset. Like it's a whole other product. But if you take your words, your ebook, and you turn it into your paperback, it's still word form. It's still written in that same language, that same format, essentially. You're just making it accessible in another media form, okay? Are you going with me? I know lots of the same words kind of being used interchangeably, but essentially you have ebook, paperback, same. It's text. You can use that as is. Okay, those two books, essentially the same price to produce, okay? Then you have, maybe even less for paperback, but anyways. Then you have audiobooks, which there are two different ways you can do audiobooks, and there's a lot of different ways, but you either have it like humanly narrated or you have it AI narrated. They are viable options. Amazon's even doing an AI option, so it is a viable option. So you have two options there, but they cost money. Both of them cost money, okay? It takes time. It takes money, whether you're using a human or you're using an AI program. Let's say you use either one of those. The actual product still needs to be edited, still needs to be proofed, still needs to be put together. Somehow, you still have to have time and money to produce that audiobook. Now, we're not even going to get into translations, what can be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And I know I've heard people say, "Oh, I just do that with AI." Good on ya, you do you. I don't though. I don't do my translations with AI because I don't know if the translation's good or not. It might be telling someone that I said, "Oh, I love you," or "Oh, go love yourself," and it actually says something else. And that's not what I meant, but that's what it changed it to. All right? Are you still following me? Okay. So either way, and this is not a which way you should do it. This is a should you do it? Should you move forward with that? I would not recommend it. And here is why. You have an ebook and a paperback. These are viable assets that you can sell in your country or whatever language you wrote them in. But then what do you do if you have a book that you wrote in German? Okay, are you going to pay for a translator if you can't translate it yourself? You need to start selling in Germany first. That's where you need to be selling. Sell in your English-speaking countries first. Start to get the ball rolling. Get your audience going so that you can afford to do this next step, okay? And I really do believe that trying to put your money in the best places is the best way to do your business. You might not make a lot of money the first few years. This is okay. Do not believe all of the hype that people are like, "Oh, I'm making $500,000 a month," or "I'm making $100,000 a month," or $20,000, whatever. They did not get there overnight. I guarantee it. They put their time in. All of us have put our time in. We have hired the editors. We've gone through the proofreaders. We've hired the good book cover designers. We have had the social media managers. We've had the ad managers. We have put our time in to get to where we are making some money and we can actually afford to do these things with the books, okay? I really, really, really cannot stress this enough. Everybody and their dog is doing translations. If you can't afford it, you're not able to do it too, okay? I know. Tough love morning. Mom's kind of having one of those mornings. So that's what we're talking about here. If you can't do it, don't feel bad. It means that you're not there yet. That's okay. Because what's really exciting about this and keeping this in mind is there's a step to every single path on this journey. Of every journey. You learn line upon line, right? And that's what you're doing when you are marketing and selling and building a business. which is what this is if you're trying to make money. So if you are going to someone and you're like, I have 20 books out. I just had this happen recently. I have 20 books out and I can't figure out why I'm not making any money and why I'm not getting any reviews. I took one look at their Amazon page and I knew right away. Number one, too many genres. Way too many genres. Number two, you couldn't tell what the genres were by looking at the covers. Horribly made covers, and I do not mind saying that. I did tell the person this. They were not well-made covers at all. Not even a little bit. Not even like they went and got a template off of Canvas and tried doing it that way. These were just horribly put together covers. And I am all for bootstrapping, but if you can't do bootstrapping appropriately, don't do it. Hire someone to do it. Go to Fiverr and get some nice, inexpensive covers that look nice, at least look like they're trying to be professional, or Upwork, or go on Facebook and look up cover designers. I guarantee you will find some really great pre-mades that you can adapt and have the cover designer adapt to fit your brand. Okay, I guarantee it. But those are small investments that you can make that make a big difference in your business. Huge difference. And you can ask people. I have been through so many cover iterations that I actually sell different cover iterations on my website. Like you can buy the landscape version, the couple version, the single person version. Like I have all these different options on covers options for my books that people can buy. And they do. They love to pick, oh, I'd rather have the landscape. Oh, I'd rather have the couple. Oh, I'd rather have the snow. I'd rather have, you get the picture? Okay. I think what's important is that we are looking at the fact that I'm trying to make money with my books. That does not mean I should be spending all of the money for my books. The next spot that you would do is after your blurb is good, after your cover is good, after you have an ARC team and you've got at least 2 reviews on your books, my goodness, try to get at least 2 good reviews. Then what you do is you start slow with ads. If you do not understand how to do ads, that's okay. Don't freak out. There's a lot of free resources out there. We do a lot of resources as well. We have some actual free startup courses coming up for Facebook and AMS just to get you started. But all you have to do is understand $5 a day on Facebook, when targeted correctly, will literally help you make sales and get recognition pretty quickly. AMS is more of a secondary like ad platform, and there's other reasons for that. And I think I have a video up. I might need to do another one to kind of update that. But literally, you need to start small, understand that growth comes gradually, like real growth comes gradually. And there's nothing wrong with investing in the correct things at the correct time. So if you start making some really good money and you're like, yeah, I'm doing really good at this, I'm ready to move into translation, guess what? You can afford it. Or I'm ready to do audiobooks. Guess what? You can afford it. But when you're stressed out and you're strapped for cash, now is not the time to be experimenting, because not all audiobooks do well. Not all translations do well. I have some of those. Not all of them do well. I can tell you right now that the best place to be putting your money after you have good covers, after you have good editing that's done. And some people have moved past the point of using editors. I don't use editors anymore for my sweet romances. I do use them for my mysteries, but not for my apocalyptic thrillers either. But everybody has a spot where they need to be using editors and where they don't need to be using them anymore. Like there's a point that you'll reach. Until they hit that point, you need to use them. They're really good. They're really helpful. Highly recommend them. But you've got the cover, you've got the editors, you've got the blurb writing done, you've got the newsletters paid for. You have done the things, you're doing the promos, okay? You need to start somewhere and work your way up. Work from the ebook paperback formats, add in audiobooks if you end up having the money and there's a demand for it. Move into translations if that's where you need to be. But do not, under any circumstance, think that just because this author over here who's making $100,000 a month with 100 books out and who's doing translations now and talking about their audiobooks and how much they're making, do not make the assumption that you, who only has 1 or 2 books out, should be doing the same thing as them. You should not be. You should be working on your backlist, putting in the time, learning your craft, learning the craft of marketing, learning the craft of advertising, and meeting your readers where they are and finding your community. That's where you should be focusing on. This other stuff is extra. You're not there yet. It's like going into a dinner and you only have, you're going to someone's dinner and you see this guy over here and he's got a perfectly made plate. Well, he's been here for 20 minutes. He already knows the lay of the land. You just walked in the door. You've got a plate. You need to start at the beginning, see what's out there, and then come back and build your perfect plate. That's what you're doing. You need to figure out if your genre is even for you. Is your genre even for you? Is your marketing that you're doing even for you? Is the genre you're writing sustainable? I just had this discussion with my son, who is also an author. He has a few books published. He just got back from his mission. He's he's building another pen name because he doesn't know if what he's written before is sustainable for him. But we had a discussion about marketing and sticking to your brand. I'm a huge fan of A Quiet Place. If you've seen my TikTok, you know where I'm going with this. I'm a huge fan of The Quiet Place. A day one came out, and I saw a lot of reviews, and they were like, it was the same thing as the first and second movie. I had the same thing, and I was like, yeah, because that's what I'm going back for. I return for the same feels. I was terrified in day one. I knew the overall story, what it would be, because it's a Krasinski story. I mean, it would be the same thing, right? Like, you see the end of the world. You're witnessing something terrifying. There's going to be a sacrifice. There's going to be some kind of loss. There's going to be a sense of humanity that ties in everything and gives you hope at the end. Yeah, I'm there for that. If he comes out with 5 more movies exactly like day one, and he calls it day one Rome and day one Mexico and day one China, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I will show up at the theaters because it is a consistent brand delivery. Okay, it won't get boring for me. I'm there all day long. That's what I'm looking for. And he'll scare me in different ways with the monsters that come out of the way, and they're horribly ugly, and I love it. I'm there for it. But there is no way that I would go for a Krasinski romance when I'm expecting to get A Quiet Place freeze, like a scare, freak out, right? Like it's just not going to work. So when you have this and you're delivering on your brand consistently, you have readers who will come back over and over and over again. Jana Ivanovich is a really great example of this. I don't even know how many books are in her, the Stephanie Plum series. I don't even know. I don't even know if her and Ranger or her and the cop ever got together. I have no idea. I stopped reading at like 10 because it was the same book over and over. But that's okay, because guess what? She wouldn't be selling these books if she wasn't delivering on her brand promise over and over and over. So if you can do that, and you can be sustainable with your genre, and you can be sustainable with your brand and deliver the same book over and over and over, obviously different, you know what I'm getting at, but you're delivering on your promise, you will have no problem reaching out with your brand and your business and getting bigger and being able to invest more and being able to do the things that you need to do. Do not jump into the hype. Do not believe that you have to be jumping into the pool with everybody else. You are on a different journey. I don't care if you've been writing for 20 years or writing for 20 months or writing for 20 days. You are on a different journey than everybody else out there. Everybody. Me, Mandy, you're different from any other author out there. You're different. And your books are needed. But you also need to understand that you're on your own journey and your steps forward are going to be completely different than someone else's. Okay, that was my little rant for the day. I've just been seeing a lot of negativity online, and I just wanted to tell people, and I don't mean negativity like bashing each other, but negativity where people are like, I don't know if this is worth it. I only have 2 books out. I'm not making any money. Or I only put 1 book out in this pen name, and I'm starting to make money. It's all different journeys. You've all got this. It's just like a weight loss journey, right? Like I started this diet, and I haven't lost as much as Sylvia over here, and Sylvia's like getting to be a Reed, and I'm getting bigger and bigger, right? Like it's completely different. So my PSA for the day is step back, take a look at everything you've done, take a look at how much you have accomplished. It's a lot, I promise. No matter where you are, it's a lot. And look forward to what you have coming up. Don't look at it as stressful. Look at it as, oh my gosh, I am still developing worlds. People fall in love, people die, all kinds of things in your hands. That's pretty amazing. So just remember where you are and where you are going to be. It's not all at once. It's going to be step by step by step. And when you're ready to do it, ebook, paperback first, move into audiobooks, then move into your translations if you are making the money and you have an audience for it. Do not ever jump into anything that everybody else is doing just because everybody else is doing it, just because you have FOMO. I promise they have FOMO too. Okay, you guys, hit like and subscribe. And I would really like to hear what you think about this in the comments. Are you experiencing FOMO? Have you had any experiences like that? Like me, I went into translations with my sweet romances. Not so smart, but I gave it a shot. It was a huge, expensive cost that I was not ready for. And I thought I was. So have you done anything like that yourself? All right, guys, we really look forward to hearing from you, and we'll look for you on the flip side.